Hi, my name is Autumn Chapoff-Lysecki, and I will be discussing my proposed program plan of a multidisciplinary graduate certificate program at the University of Michigan. Along with industry-specific experience and knowledge, in today's job market, employers are looking for certain skills in education. Research and predictions of economic development demonstrate that a growing number of jobs are turning to more and more technologically based systems, and industries are continuing to evolve and advance at an astounding rate. To remain competitive in the workforce, many adults are now looking for ways to continue their education, build and strengthen their current skill sets, and acquire new skills, abilities, and industry-specific knowledge. Currently, the structure for most graduate programs and certificate programs is a strict curriculum of core courses and an approved list of electives or cognates. Additionally, most master's programs and graduate level certificates are almost entirely siloed, and the curriculums are largely independent from one another. To add to the challenges created from such structured and rigid curriculums, even when students are able to add some variety into their coursework through electives or cognates, these courses are oftentimes still restricted to options only available within a single department, and these courses generally do not get recognized as contributing to an actual separate specialization or focus. Furthermore, students often feel as though they are taking filler courses simply to complete their degree. Students are not particularly interested in many of these elective courses, nor do the learning and outcomes necessarily have any practical applications to the skill sets students are looking to acquire. As a result, these courses are consuming precious time and resources, which are both well understood as already being pre-existing barriers and challenges for many adult learners. All this aside, in order for students to even obtain recognizable degrees and gain skills in several areas of expertise, students currently have to go through the entire process of applying, participating, and graduating for each independent program they would like to complete. Needless to say, this is again not an appealing process, nor is it time sensitive and accommodating to the needs and challenges already facing adult learners. So, looking to address these issues, this proposed program is a graduate level 4-credit certificate program and would allow adult students to continue their education. The basic premise of the program is that a student can combine up to 2 different specializations and 1 concentration into a single graduate certificate. The potential for a multidisciplinary student-constructed program ultimately saves time, money, and facilitates a more efficient, effective, and focused path to completing graduate level credits at the University of Michigan. This proposed program could be thought of as a specialization that simultaneously accompanies a graduate degree, supplements an already obtained graduate degree, or functions as an opportunity for students to gain post-bachelor credits, perhaps before committing to a full graduate program. Overall, this program would allow students to pursue graduate-level multidisciplinary specializations that are clearly identifiable, recognizable, and completed from an elite, top-tier research institution. This program would be primarily targeted towards working professionals. These would likely be individuals who are looking to continue their post-bachelor's education and obtain specific skill sets in order to grow and gain promotion opportunities within their current roles. It would also be an opportunity for someone who is looking to embark into an entirely new industry or job market by helping them learn and obtain a new skill set through a multifaceted yet focused educational approach. In order for this program to be implemented, many internal stakeholders would need to collaborate on its creation and implementation. Beginning with individual departments and colleges across campus, there would need to be an initial survey distributed to gauge the level of interest of departments to offer a graduate certificate specialization within their areas. The Office of Enrollment Management and the Office of the University's Registrar would also play large roles in providing the background and policy structure for the program, as well as providing services for students in terms of enrollment, audits, financial aid, and graduation. Since the program itself would be a joint initiative implemented through the Rackham Graduate School and the Office of Academic Innovation, the administrations housed within both of these areas would be lead constituents in developing the foundational structure, outline, organization, and technological modalities of the program. Finally, connecting with U of M's Office of University Development would be beneficial in order to begin exploring opportunities for any initial donor-funded scholarships or implementation funds. If there were any current potential donors whose gift intentions aligned with the program, simply beginning the conversation with the development team would be beneficial in promoting and recruiting future gifts and project funds. Since adult learners are likely to have multiple outside responsibilities, such as families and jobs, they will need flexibility in class offerings, schedules, and course options. Therefore, the courses and instruction for this program would be available fully online. In addition to the courses themselves, resources such as advising appointments, direct help with technology and research, counseling and psychological services, as well as financial aid and enrollment services, would all be made available to students enrolled in this program and accessible also through various online and distant modalities, including instant chat functions, email, phone, and virtual in-person meetings. To gain admittance into this program, students would need to have completed a graduate degree or be concurrently enrolled in a graduate degree program, or have substantial, meaning at least 3 years, of post-bachelor's work experience. A compelling statement of purpose that clearly describes their intentions and specific future career goals would be required, as would a minimum cumulative GPA of a 3.0. Otherwise strong applicants with GPAs falling below the 3.0 minimum could be admitted on a conditional basis and would receive full admittance after successfully completing 3 courses in the program. Once admitted, students would begin constructing their individualized programs after completing an online orientation. The online orientation would consist of a short series of synchronous small group sessions led by a program advisor, and students would be required to participate virtually in person. During this orientation, there would be a detailed tutorial for students on how to construct their individualized certificate program and how to enroll in selected courses. Additionally, to complete their orientation, students would be required to walk through their devised certificate program with an advisor to ensure they understood their path to completion and all of their available options. The program itself would be structured in such a way that all participating departments would create their own individualized curriculums and would determine what courses they would approve as constituting their offered specializations and/or concentrations, as well as the courses they would offer for elective credits. Any prerequisites for core courses would be determined and enforced at the departmental levels. The overall graduate certificate with a single specialization would consist of a minimum of 7 courses and 21 credits. A single specialization would be made up of a minimum of 4 core courses and 3 electives, and a concentration could be added to the program by simply completing the 3 electives in an available single focus field of study. If a student chose to have dual specializations, they would only need to complete a single set of electives or choose a concentration for the entire certificate. For example, say an individual has a desire to work in data analytics, and specifically in the field of higher education, working with student data. For this individual, they would have the opportunity to combine their data analytic coursework with courses in higher education leadership and even choose to concentrate in, let's say, applied statistics. In this example, after completing the program, the student would graduate with a graduate certificate in data analytics and higher education leadership with a concentration in applied statistics. Their total course count would be 11 courses and 33 credits. In the program, students would be assessed on a graded basis, just as they would be in a traditional degree granting program. Maintaining a minimum overall 3.0 GPA in the certificate will be required to maintain good academic standing. In the beginning, implementation and building stages of the program, the short-term or immediate success would be measured as milestones are met along the way. For example, initial department participation numbers, preliminary student attendance and participation in recruitment and interest events, as well as application numbers, would be used to indicate immediate success and potential of the program. Additionally, especially as the first cohort of students would be completing the program, Distributing biannual feedback surveys to both students and faculty will help provide indicators of success and indicate any areas in need of attention or revision. Overall success of the program will need to be measured longitudinally and will require at least 2 years of compiled data regarding the retention and graduation rates, post-completion job and career placements, and overall student and department satisfaction. Additionally, to determine the sustainability of the program, data indicating strong financial stability and growth of the program will also be needed. Trends demonstrating increasing enrollment numbers, the distribution of the types and amounts of funding sources for students and their financial support, as well as the overall balanced administrative costs and time allocations will all need to be compiled and analyzed. Foreseeable eventual long-term success would also include alumni events and alumni engagement. Since the University of Michigan historically has a very strong alumni base and collaborative partnerships, having strong program alumni engagement, including the potential for mentorship opportunities within the program, would also be future indications of overall programmatic success. All of this data would be stored in the PeopleSoft Oracle database that is currently developed for the University of Michigan's SIS, or Student Information System. Staffing for the program itself would initially be conservative and consist of a full-time program chief administrator and, depending on the number of departments participating, 1 or 2 program advisors that would also function as department liaisons. Additionally, the program would benefit from the contributions of a business systems analyst. Currently, in the Office of Enrollment Management, there are 3 full-time BSAs that rotate across different projects to assist with program implementation and process development. The expected term of their fractional appointment on this project would likely be a year or 2 years and would be a split appointment, meaning only half of their salary would be allocated from the general fund for this specific project. Lastly, fractional time ITS support, again with split appointments, would be contracted in the beginning of this program to help develop the program's website, online presence, and to develop the enrollment platform. Aside from policy creation and contractual development, having programmers develop and code the enrollment platform and application will be one of the largest components of creating this program. Once the platform is developed, it will also need to be supported and maintained through ITS support, but this is likely to be a minimal appointment as well. In terms of budget, one of President Schlissel's current core initiatives at the University of Michigan is academic innovation, and in turn, extensive funds have already been allocated to the development and creation of new education through technological advances and ideas. Therefore, this program would largely be funded through the general fund allocation and the Academic Innovation Initiative already approved by the university's regents. For student tuition and costs, it would be a top priority that students would be eligible to apply for financial aid. Since one of the main reasons behind the creation of this program is to create a more accessible, direct, efficient, and time-sensitive approach to continuing graduate studies at an elite institution, financial aid eligibility would be critical and also something that would actually differentiate the program from a number of other certification and purely professional development type of course sequences already available. In addition to financial aid, the University of Michigan is also extremely fortunate to have an extensive endowment, very large donor base, and substantial resources. Therefore, it is also very likely that there will be scholarships made available to select students. Additionally, a large priority for the program administrator would be collaborating with the Office of University Advancement and promoting continued growth and development of future scholarship funds and resource opportunities. Initial promotion and marketing for the program would be communicated through the university's social media outlets and online platforms. There would also be a flyer or brochure mailed out to members of the University of Michigan Alumni Association, as well as any prospective graduate student mailing lists that are already being maintained by the university and individual departments. A general announcement would be included as part of the university's main webpage banner and would include links for prospective students to be included in upcoming information sessions, and once general interest was established, live recorded online Q&A webinar sessions would be promoted and facilitated by the program's administrator and advisors. For implementing the program, the anticipated timeline for the development through launch would likely take about a full academic year to complete, and the last 4 to 6 months would be largely devoted to the outreach, promotion, and marketing of the program to prospective students. In line with this timeline, it would be expected that the program would launch its first cohort of students within 6 months of being fully developed. Once the program is fully implemented, for students to graduate with the certificate, they will be required to complete a minimum of 7 courses and 21 credits. Students enrolled on a part-time basis would likely complete the program in 1 to 2 years. Students would be allowed to enroll in up to 3 courses and 9 credits in a single term. Overall, it is clear that current graduate certificates are not as efficient as they could be. Students should be able to construct a diverse yet focused and efficient plan of study that is recognized, respected, timely, and directly applicable to their educational and professional goals. I think this program would provide a much needed opportunity for adult professionals to continue their education at a respected university in a very focused program with specific career-oriented courses. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this presentation. Thank you.